Hey, book besties, Happy New Year!
This month, we're finally getting LJ to read Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. We will be recording this episode at the end of the month, so you still have some time to read it.
We really hope you'll join us.
Hey, book besties. Welcome to More Than a Book Club podcast. I'm your host, Leyna.
And I'm your other host, LJ.
And today we're joined by a special guest host, Miss Nikki Blake. Welcome.
Yay!
Thank you so much for having me.
We're so excited to have you here. Not only are you a book reader, but you're also a writer.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited about.
I know, and we were just discussing before we started recording. We're like, okay, so how did we connect? And Leyna asked that, and I knew because I knew it was a follow train, and that was me on the follow trains on Bookstagram. So if you're a Bookstagrammer and you have not done that, it's a great way to meet awesome people. That's how we met Nikki, and we're so excited to have you on here.
Yeah, like I was saying before, I'm pretty, selective with my follow trains, but I feel like that one was really successful since I got to meet you guys.
Yay!
I never miss a podcast. I've listened to them all. I love them.
Aw.
So thank
love
you.
It.
Oh my gosh. So, Mom, if you're listening, did you hear that? She has listened to all of them, not blood related. Claudia, I'm talking to you.
And they're all good. They're wonderful. I listen to them when I'm driving to work.
You.
They're the best.
Oh, thank you.
That's awesome. So how did you get into writing?
So, well, like you said, I'm a reader and a writer. I feel like reading is kind of the gateway into writing, I have been reading for as long as I can remember. And then I kind of started getting into writing because I had a very active imagination. I found this book. I think it was called like The Book About Me or something. I think we probably all had that when we were younger. But it was, where we draw, trace your hand and your feet. And one of them was write a story. And the very first story that I ever wrote that I found was about a gargoyle.
Oh, fun.
So I've been kind of like a creepy writer forever.
I was going to say you were spooky even back then.
Oh, I've been spooky since birth. Born spooky. So yeah, I feel like just if you read enough, it's kind of an extension that you think you have your own stories you want to tell. And I was actually wondering if either of you did any kind of writing.
So I dabbled. I started writing. I wrote a book, but then kind of put it away. Like I got through the edits and I was like, oh no. So it's a drawer book. And then I wrote a short story that I submitted a few places, but it never got picked up.
I would love to read it. You got to bring that back out.
It's also spooky. I don't know what it is. But
so
every time I write something, it turns into something spooky. It could be a love story. It turns into ghost.
Nice.
This was about zombie children.
That's like right up my alley. You have to share that with me after that.
Okay, will do.
So I don't know when I stopped writing, but like as a kid, I was either reading or writing. I had notebooks and binders and just all sorts of things like that. And I don't know when I stopped. And so that's one of my goals this year, if nothing else, just for me, I have a journal. I wrote one night because I do have stories in my head. Like I remember a few years ago, or maybe it was like in college, and I said something to one of my cousins about, well, like the characters in your head. And she kind of looked at me and I was like, oh, you don't have that. Like I have like a bunch of I have an epic in my brain, and it's not anything spooky at all because it's not. But I have so many characters.
But you're the one in a true crime, right?
Oh, I love true crime. Yes, I know.
And I can't stand it.
I know. I love
spooky.
Oh, I love spooky, but I love scary. But at the same time, my story, I guess that's not the story that I would tell, but I already sat down. I wrote out just one little instance, almost like a short story, just one of the things in my head. And, it's not something, it's just for fun. It's just for me. And so, it was really funny at one point. I don't remember. I was thinking about leaving teaching or when I was, and my parents were like, well, are you going to write a book like you said you were in 4th grade? And I was like, I'm like, I'm going to get right on that. So, I mean, I guess, you know what? Only 42. There's many more years, hopefully. So, but no. But I think you're right. Like the love of reading was then, I was like, well, I want to write my own stories. But I don't know when I stopped.
I mean, we're all moms. Don't you feel like just being a mom, you feel like you have something you want to say? There's things I want to impart, things I want to teach. And sometimes they just fit perfectly in a spooky background. So,
Yeah.
y'all just
I love it.
But Yeah, I'm with you though. How you were saying you always have notebooks. Like when we were younger, my mom used to take us to Toys R Us if we went to the dentist and didn't have a treat to eat.
Oh, yeah.
And my brother would always get a toy, and I would always get a notebook and a cool pencil. Like that was all that I wanted from the very beginning. And even now, I still get really excited about notebooks and pencils. It's like my favorite thing ever.
Oh yeah, I love notebooks and pens for sure. Obsessed. I like do not need to ever buy another one probably for the rest of my life, but I will.
You can never have too many.
If I get one, though, my daughter steals it.
Oh, no.
I have a little bit
It's
of
not
that.
mine forever.
Yeah. Like I even had just bought some simple, different colored little, one subject notebooks. And my daughter's like, I need notebooks for school. I'm like, okay, well, I have a stack in there. I thought she was going to take a couple. She took them all. So I was like,
That's
I'm like,
teenagers.
okay, yep, that's what they do. So, all right. So we know that you have a story that was adapted into a film. So do you normally write, like, what is your medium that you normally write? Do you write like screenplays? Do you write stories, books, or all of the above?
So, like I said, I think I've been kind of writing on and off my whole life, but I didn't start really writing until not this past summer, but the summer before, because both my kids, my youngest had graduated high school. So it was my first summer as an empty nester. And I'm a teacher too. I teach 4th and 5th special education.
Awesome. Oh, amazing.
So I had the whole summer off with nothing to do. And I just thought, I want to write. One of my best friends, Lee, is an author, and he, has a book out and he's working on another book. I said, I'm going to give it a try. So I actually started writing on Wattpad.
Yes, that's what I couldn't think of that one time. Wattpad, yes.
Yeah, I just for fun. And then people really liked what I was writing. So I thought, I'll enter a couple of competitions just to see. So that's literally how it started. And then like the first competition I entered was the short story that was made into the film. So
That's awesome.
it was the craziest bit of just luck and timing and everything. But so I've only been writing really kind of seriously for, I guess it'd be like a year and a half now. But I feel like I'm really good at the shorter stories, mostly because of my attention span. It's writing, microfiction. I had some success with some microfiction that I wrote. I had moved forward in a couple of competitions and then shortlisted and stuff like that. Because I feel like I'm good at making an emotional impact in a shorter word count, but I do have a couple of novels that I'm working on too. So I'd say a little bit of everything.
Okay,
cool.
And I'm not a screenwriter, but my dad has written scripts and even shot some of his movies just for fun, like very amateur, for years. So I feel like it's just kind of like in my blood. So it was really fun when I won and we got to go to the film festival to watch it because my dad's been, a script writer for so long. It was so fun that we can kind of go and do that together.
Oh, that's really fun.
So
He got to go down with you?
Yep. My parents came and my husband and his parents came. So
Very
That's
cool. That is awesome.
Let's see. So what was it like to see your story be brought to life?
oh my gosh. It was, even to this day, like I have my movie poster back here. It was so surreal. Because like I said, it was one of the first things I did. Look, I mean, I'm a teacher. I have a degree. It's not like I just, wrote out of nowhere and it was great. I mean, obviously I've been writing and, all these kind of things my whole life. So, but when I wrote it just for fun, I kind of sent it off and forgot about it. And then I was teaching when I got the email that they had picked me and I screamed.
Oh,
And my students were like, what? And I said, oh my gosh, I won this contest. And, they're going to make my movie or my story into a short film. And the kids kind of froze from it. And then they go, our teacher's famous. And they were jumping around and cheering. And I mean, we were all just it was like the biggest celebration. But I was too afraid to really tell anybody because I felt, I got told around January this time last year that my story was picked. And I mean, it was legit. I had to sign a contract. I had to do a background check. It was a really kind of a real process. But then I was too afraid. I was like, there's so much time because the festival is the end of October. So I was really afraid of telling anybody and it didn't happen. But, they would email me throughout the year and just say, we approve the script. We are working on, they're shooting it right now, post-production, whatever. But once I got the movie poster, I felt like, okay, this is real. They're doing it. So that's when I kind of was able to share it. But going and seeing it. So the guy who filmed it. So let me back up a little bit. It was through Phantom Wines. They have this competition every year. and they're like the wine sponsor of the Austin Film Festival. So they hired Spencer Glover, who he's a great director. He directed Black Belts on Disney Plus, and a couple of other things. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely go watch it. But so they hired him to film it, and then I found him on social media. We just kind of chatted a little bit beforehand. I got to see some of the behind the scenes, but actually going and seeing it like up on the screen and seeing my name up on the screen was just
Surreal.
I mean, it's exactly what you would think. It was just absolutely nuts because I felt like having anything I wrote being made into a film was like my biggest dream. So to have it happen kind of so quick is just still kind of crazy sometimes.
You're just checking things off your bucket list left
Yeah,
and right.
for
But
real.
yeah, I want to do a podcast. That's was one of my New Year's resolutions, done in January. Just checking these off.
Yes, we love that. Okay, I want to talk about it. So people, if you, our listeners, our dear listeners, beloved as you are, if you have not watched the short film yet, which is linked in our show notes, you need to pause right now, go watch it. It is very short. It's 8 minutes. You do not want this spoiled because I will tell you, Leyna watched it before I did, and she told me nothing. And I'm so glad because it would have ruined it if she had spoiled it. So pause and then go watch and then come back because we're going to talk spoilers. So,
And if you aren't sure what show notes are, they're on the YouTube. On the YouTube, I sound
the YouTube. Look at
on the
okay,
YouTube.
boomer.
If you're on the YouTube, if you go over to there's a little section to the side. That's where your show notes are. If you're on podcast, it will also have. If you click on the link, it has the drop down menu of all the show notes. So that's where you can find it, and we'll link it there for everybody to go see. So go pause it, go watch, and then come back because we don't want anything spoiled for you.
No, and it's only 8 minutes. It's not like you're going to go watch for 3 hours and then come back. So go do it. It's worth it.
Okay, now that we've properly
Set up.
vetted it, set it up so that nobody's going to get spoiled. That was super creepy.
It really was.
Thank you.
It was, yeah, it was so awesome because I should read the text that I sent to Leyna, warning there's a little bit of profanity.
Yeah, you do that one.
I wrote her, I go, holy shit, I was not ready for the jump scare in that short film that I just watched by myself in my classroom. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't yell or scream, but I know I said something out loud. I was like, oh my gosh.
When we saw it in the theater, so it was part of the horror shorts category in the festival. So we were there with all the other filmmakers who created their horror shorts. I think there was maybe 7 or 8 of them. And just, the tension building up to that part. Everyone, I mean, you can see them. We were kind of in the middle. You could see people kind of closing up. And then when it happened, some guy in the front goes, on. And then,
awesome.
I mean, I will never forget that. That was the best moment of my life when he said it.
When you get that visceral reaction, I'm sure that's just yes, my writing did that.
Exactly. Yeah, it was so fun. And there were some really good other ones in that whole category, but ours was kind of the most. Some of theirs were more psychological, not so much of a jump scare. So for ours to have that good jump scare and to have that reaction from the audience was really fun.
Well, I feel like there was a little bit of psychological at the end there as you're driving away and then you see the doll.
The doll is still there.
What's going to happen?
What I thought
Where's
was
the
so,
sequel?
well, I thought what was so cool is when she comes in and her daughter's not there, but then you see her daughter's hand reach out and you recognize it as her daughter. So it's not scary. You're like, oh, her daughter's hiding underneath. But so you're not expecting when she gets down there, you see this sweet little daughter and then she gets down on the level and it's like, oh my gosh. I was really okay, she's just helping her daughter. And oh, wait, no. So
I love that. I love that so much.
it was so good. And yeah, and then having the creepy old doll, we've talked about that on here when we were talking about the How My Neighbor Stole Christmas. Because I'm sorry, American Girl dolls are not creepy. They're not.
They're not.
No.
But oh my gosh,
Sweet.
it was so good. And yeah, we need a sequel, I think. Have you written a sequel?
Oh my gosh. You know what's funny is I have 2 other stories that I'm working on, and both of them had to do with a rental. So I thought I need to trademark Scare B&B.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you need to.
I love it.
And I need to write a bunch of just Scare B&B stories of scary things that could happen at rentals. Wouldn't that be so fun?
That would
Yes,
be
and I think
fun
then
and terrifying.
well, and then I think you can market it to like Airbnb people with like vacation rentals should have it somewhere in the house. Like that would be so much. Oh, you have to Airbnb trademarking it right now. No one take it. This is
Right,
Nikki.
no one take it. And then we'll have
Go
to
get that
create our
domain.
own Airbnb, like a reading, spooky reading retreat.
Oh, that would be so awesome.
That would be. Oh my goodness.
All right,
yes,
we're doing that.
You have.
We have
yes,
it planned.
it has to happen. That would be so much fun. And I would love that. Like this could almost be if you write a bunch of them, like the adult scary stories to tell in the dark. Because did you have that book as a kid?
Oh yeah, that would be
I think
so
everybody
fun.
did.
Yes, like we'll just have the adult version. Like, oh, I am here for that.
Well, and I have 2 other writers here who are going to be writing more here, so we've got this, like an anthology style.
There we go. Done.
I love it.
We can do it.
Yeah, it's fun though. The people's biggest reaction is after the girl Frankie says, "That's not Mary."
Yes. Oh my gosh.
That was the line that people quoted to me the most. I was joking around with some of my, I was talking about it with my followers. I was like, should I get a "That's Not Mary" tattoo?
Oh, I think so. Yes, do it. Oh my goodness.
Or maybe
Yeah,
the baby doll hand with the fingernails cut or the fingers cut off. So lots of good options. I feel like I have to get a tattoo. Maybe that's not Mary.
I'm very big on getting tattoos to commemorate things. So
Absolutely.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. We actually we have matching tattoos. Okay, I have like a rash, so I can't show mine. But
I don't know if you can.
okay, you show it that
I
way.
bend my arm.
Yeah, you got to do it the right way. I think
There,
I'm not.
maybe.
Yeah. No, I can't. I mean, mine. I have like.
We'll post a picture on Instagram.
Yeah, but we do have matching tattoos.
For the podcast or for your book?
It was
club?
for our book club.
For our book club.
We
Yeah.
all- I love that.
So yeah, it's really cute. But I think I'm having an allergic reaction to detergent again.
Oh no.
And so it's only like in my lower arms and my lower legs. So it's real fun. But anyway, it looks like I have like smallpox on my tattoo or like an allergic reaction to my tattoo.
It might
All
be
of my
because it's so
tattoos are
cold.
matching. I don't have any individual tattoos, so that's funny.
Oh,
that you
that's
mentioned that.
fun.
So what are they? What's their theme? If they're
So I
matching?
have a couple. Yeah, I have a couple on my wrist that me and my husband have together, and then our wedding anniversary, and then I have the same kind of problem.
Yeah.
My
We have to be contortionist.
exactly. My best friends in California who were teachers, we all kind of bonded over seeing the Scream remakes because we all loved Scream.
Oh,
So
I
we
love
have
Scream.
a different ghost face. I don't know if I can get mine.
That's so
Oh my
cool.
gosh, that is so cool. I should do that. I love Scream because I don't know how old you are. You don't have to tell us if you don't want to.
Oh, I'm
Scream
36.
Okay, so
You're a
Scream
baby.
came out. Yeah, you are. A baby. My Scream came out my freshman year of high school. Our freshman year of high school, we're the same age, and so I'm like, it was iconic. And so you were.
Okay.
I mean, it is. And so yeah, I've been following all of them. I own them all. I will own them all. I don't care if they get.
I think I've only
bad.
watched the first one.
I know, Leyna. We need to fix that. We've talked about this.
Wait,
Scream.
you haven't seen the first one?
No, I've
Just the-
only seen the first
Oh,
one.
you only. Okay, I was gonna
And
say if
I
you've
think-
only seen one, the first is the most important.
I think
It
I
is.
watched
It-
that in theaters, and then I watched it with my daughter, who's 14. It's Halloween.
See, and a few years ago, my daughter had a bunch of friends. Like they were jumping houses one year over spring break, and I had them for like 2 nights. All these girls, and so I watched with them. We watched all the Scream movies that were out. I think it was right before the 6th one came out, and so
Didn't
we
you
were
go
watching.
take them to the theater to go
yeah,
watch it? You took-
Kaylee, we did.
yeah.
I did go take Kaylee to see the last one. Yeah, so. I said her
Uh-huh.
name. I keep saying I'm not going to say her name, and I keep saying my kid's name. I'm like, I'm not going to say my kid's name, and it's like every episode, every other one.
Oh no.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
I
She
love-
doesn't care.
I love the new ones. I thought that they did a great job. The second, I mean, the other ones after the first, they're all fun to watch, but that first one really is the best.
Oh, it really is. Yes, I agree.
Mhm.
All right. So, do you have any advice for any people like us, like new, like writers? Well, she's a writer,
Who have
already, but
yet
me,
to
a
be
writer
published.
to be yet to be published.
I would say my biggest advice would be to find a community, which is why I'm trying to rope you guys in with me. When Lucy's coming in here and sneezing. Yeah, find your community, because one thing about writing is that you will write something that you're so obsessed with and you love it, and then the next day you're going to wake up and you're going to say, I suck so bad at writing, I need to throw this away and burn it.
So maybe I
it's
should
helpful to
put
have
everything in a
friends
drawer.
Yeah, it's helpful to have friends who, number one, feel the same way, so you know you're not alone, but also friends who could say, no, your writing is great. Send it to me. Let's see if we can fix it.
Awesome.
So that would be my biggest advice, is find a community, which is why I have my Instagram. I have a million group chats with all my friends, and
Yes.
we're also writers and readers, and it's just helpful to have people to talk to. And then there's so many podcasts and YouTube videos, and just really try and learn as much as you can. But also know that writing is a collaborative process. So don't stress out if you feel like your writing's not quite working. That's why we have alpha readers, beta readers, editors. It's really collaborative. So I'm just trying to stay positive when you get that feedback, and just see it as an opportunity to grow, and not necessarily as a, like, it could be hurtful when someone reads your stuff and they have a suggestion, but it's collaborative.
All right.
I would agree
Good
with
to
that.
know.
That'd be my biggest
And-
advice. So
you
our
said
writing group is going to be awesome, in other words.
Yeah.
The spooky story. Well, LJ won't be spooky.
Maybe
We'll
it
have
is.
to, we'll have to come up with something else.
Hey, we need to have an episode on, like, what do we believe about the paranormal, because I got stories from my childhood. I'm just saying. So, because my family,
you could do true spookiness, true paranormal.
spookiness.
Is that a
I'm
thing?
just saying. Yeah,
True
because
spook.
my family had some old houses, so there was some weird stuff that happened, and I remember it all. That's for another day, kind of like the Gilmore Girls episodes, plural probably. Just saying. So,
Like I said, call me back for that Gilmore Girls. I'm into it. My friends, right before I left California to move to Montana, my teacher friends that we got the ghost face tattoo together, they took me to the WB studio tour, so we got to see all the Gilmore Girls stuff and be in the gazebo and all that fun stuff.
jealous. I want to go.
It was really
I'm
fun.
trying to think. I just went to that 2 years ago. I'm like, did I miss that? Maybe I was
Maybe.
focused on Harry Potter stuff.
Yeah, I think you're only recently getting back into Gilmore Girls, so
Yes.
so that's fair.
Yep.
All right, are we about? Or well, what are you currently reading? Are you reading Onyx Storm?
Onyx Storm. Although I was like, I'm going to read it in one day.
No.
Close to halfway done.
I read the prologue. That's all I read.
Okay, well, no spoilers whatsoever.
Yeah.
But do you feel like this one is a little bit more of a slow start?
It's a little. I'm only about 15% in, which is a long book, so 15% is a couple pages. But it feels like a slow start, and yet whenever I went back and read Iron Flame, the first time I read it, I felt that book was a little boring in parts. And
Okay.
when I went back and reread it, I was like, oh, this isn't boring at all. So maybe it was just I wanted it to move faster, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if that's the same way as I'm reading this, because it feels like it's setting some stuff up, but very slowly. Like you go forward and then back, and it's not taking up much time yet. Like it's only been a few days.
I agree. I remember I didn't really like Iron Flame the first time, but then when I reread it, I was like, this is an amazing book. What was I thinking? So
And it makes me wonder if I was just comparing it to the first book, and it's like, okay, they're two separate books, and the pacing will be different because you're world building in the first book,
Oh yeah.
and you're not doing that as much in the second book. So
and Fourth Wing, that is such a good book. I feel like that got so many people out of reading slumps, and
Yes.
I mean, I couldn't put that book down. I remember I had a Kindle, an actual version, and an audiobook, and I was just going back between them, whatever would work for me, wherever I was.
Awesome.
I had put it on my library list, and I had it on the library list, and it wasn't coming up. It said it was waiting for a copy. And I was like, ugh, I'm just going to go ahead and buy it. So I went to go buy it from Audible. And when I did, I had checked my email, and I got an email saying your pre-purchase is ready. And apparently I had bought it and forgot about it.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Yeah.
Luckily, I have it.
Mhm.
Didn't have to wait from the
Yeah,
library.
see, and I was the kind of I did not read Fourth Wing right away, and then when I did, it was so overhyped. So the first time it was kind of disappointing, but when I reread it before Iron Flame, I really enjoyed it. And I agree. What I love, regardless of if I loved it or not, I love whenever there are books that get people back into reading that have forgotten how much they love it. And we kind of talked about that. Was that just last episode when I
I
was
think
talking
that
about
was last
Colleen?
episode.
Talking
Mhm.
about Colleen Hoover and how like she gets kind of mixed reviews. People either tend to love her or hate her, but she is someone who also has gotten so many people out of, like, I know one of my good friends from college, that's what got her back into reading. And she sure did read every single one of Colleen Hoover's books. I read most of them with her, but not all of them. And I love that. I love that about this series. I love seeing the excitement. And I actually was talking on my story. I think it was on my personal story that's like a private account. But or maybe if I talked about it, I don't know. I have too many Instagram accounts. But I was talking about how I am such an anticipation girl. So like I always say Thursday is my favorite day of the week because sometimes the anticipation of the weekend is more fun than the weekend turns out to be. And so I was all like into the hype and everything. And then the book came out and I'm like, oh, which I shouldn't be like, oh, I should be like, go read it, you fool. But I gotta finish. What are we reading? What are y'all making me? Outlander. I gotta finish that by Sunday. So
how's that going?
I am 25% in, which it turns out is not as far as I went the first 2 times I read it. So I'm getting close though. I'm almost to that.
You get to finish by the weekend?
Yeah.
Sunday.
It's okay. I can do it.
I'm 40% in. And I'm like, I'm going to have to speed read because I'm not as fast of a reader as you.
I can do it. I think. No, we'll see.
Well,
I do have to.
I was going to ask you guys, you each read over 100 books last year. What are your secrets? I read 30 and I feel like that was a huge accomplishment.
I think everybody's different, first of all. So 30 books for one person could be 100 books for another.
Yes.
And I do a lot of audiobooks and I don't work full time.
So that
helps.
That is her trick. I will say for me, I am a very fast reader. And the more I read, the faster I get. So right now I actually feel like I'm reading slower, but I'm okay with that. But a few years ago, the last couple of years of my marriage, and they were during the COVID years, one year I read 275 books and another one over 200. And I almost burnt myself out of reading completely doing that. But I think that's basically all I did. If I was not at work, and even honestly, a little bit at work, because we would have like kids would be there. We were not supposed to use their whole time online, like teach and then give them time to work on stuff and ask you questions. And so there was just more downtime. And then going home, like we had plenty of time during the day to get our stuff done. So I had more time to read and I literally didn't do anything else besides go to like sports for my kids. I don't recommend that lifestyle. I think that was me avoiding and seeking joy in books, which I think we should all do that anyway, as long as we're not missing out on life, you know? And that, I mean, it is what it is. And so now I kind of it's been hard to get out of that, like that pressure to read so many. Cause I'm like, well, you did 275, girl. You did over 200 another year. No. I want to enjoy reading. Now, obviously a thriller or like a horror book, I'm probably going to read it real fast because I got to
find out what's happening.
But I'm trying to make myself go slower with romantasy and rom-coms and, stuff like that.
Really enjoy it. Yeah.
But I think 30 books, hey, there have been years that I read 25, 30 books as an adult. Like you got life going, you're writing too. Like,
yeah. And teaching and
yes.
Going to film presentations.
Yeah. Yes,
guys.
Film festivals.
Well, and I'm like, too, I have a life. Like, that sounds so wrong. I mean, like, I'm in a healthy relationship. And so I'm doing things. I'm not just sitting at home. And I've said it before on here. I definitely was depressed. I think COVID hit me harder than I realized. And I think the depression was just, it didn't come out the same way. So I had no energy, but I sure did have energy to read. So I did.
And I sit in carpool because I still pick up my kids from school. So I have 30 minutes in carpool every day, plus the drive there. So it's like, that's at least, 45 minutes of solid audiobook listening.
Yes. And that's true. My commute it's the same distance, but it's slow. As people have gone back to work, I'm like, please work from home after COVID. Just all of you stay home. It takes me 45 minutes approximately each way. So that, again, hour and a half of audiobook every day.
You probably don't have that in Montana.
Yeah, we live in a really small town. My school I could walk there. It's less than 5 minutes. But
it's amazing, but it's cool.
We're almost 2 hours in either direction from the closest Walmart or Target. So whenever I make that trip, I do usually try and do an audiobook because then it's a good, almost 4 hours round trip.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What's the major city near you?
We're the 2 biggest ones. We're in between our Kalispell and Great Falls.
Okay.
We're at the top, pretty close to Canada.
I used to live in Spokane.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
Kind of familiar. Don't miss the snow.
Yeah, I know. I got a P.O. box in Kalispell because we need to have an address for your author newsletter. I didn't want to do my actual house.
Right.
I mean, I love everybody, but, I wanted to do a P.O. box. So I did one in Kalispell. But to get from where I am to Kalispell, there's so much snow. I couldn't go. I just went last week to get Christmas presents that some of me and my friends on Instagram had exchanged. So, yeah.
Oh, man.
That's okay. It's a fun little trip.
The snow will melt, and then it'll be beautiful.
It will.
And then
It
it'll
will.
snow again. But
Hey, we're down here. I'm down here hoping for more snow days because I want more free reading days. I'm just saying.
Well, our snow days are different than Montana snow
That's
days. 'Cause
true.
They still have to go to work and school and all that stuff.
That is true. We
we
don't.
don't close down for anything. We get down to, with the wind chill, down to negative 40 degrees.
Ugh.
And I had bus duty and negative 40
Oh,
degrees. I mean, the kids only come inside if it feels like less than 0. Otherwise, they're outside playing. Like, they're tough up here.
Man, because like down in Texas, I think if it's under 40 degrees, they're
They're
not
inside.
allowed to go outside for recess or anything.
Under 40?
But on the flip side of that, if it's 100 and something degrees, they send it outside.
That's true. That's true. So we have that extreme. But what's funny though, my daughter is allergic to the cold. She has cold urticaria and she will get hives if on exposed skin out in the cold. So yeah, fun times. I'm like, you cannot move up north. Like you're stuck down
I'll
here.
just
Try not
we
to complain
average
about our
40.
30s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we average 40 degrees most months of the year.
Wow.
Crazy.
It
Crazy
feels
for
great
us.
though. Once you get used to it, it feels really good.
Yeah.
So whenever I go back to California, I'm like, this is really hot. It's like 70
Yeah.
and I'm sweating bullets.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. And I can wear a sweatshirt at 70 degrees outside.
Oh no.
Same.
Now that I'm used to it out here, no way. I'll never go back. But you guys are both in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the
Yeah, we're
Dallas
used to it.
area.
Yeah, we're used to it being way warmer. So yeah. All right, so should we jump into our book worlds that we want to
Yes.
live in? All
Yes.
right.
So in addition to having Nikki here as a guest host and talking about her short story, we're also going to have her talk about book worlds that she wants to live in or that she doesn't want to live in.
Yeah.
I have a few prepared.
Yay. Okay, what's one of yours?
Well, I feel like it's perfect with Fourth Wing with the new Onyx Storm being out. So what would we call that? Is that like, I mean, Biscayeth is the school, but is it like, I mean, is it Navarre? Is that the kingdom?
Navarre is the kingdom. The Imperium is the dragons, right?
Yeah, like that's kind of the name of the series.
Yeah.
Fourth Wing World, we'll just call it that.
Okay, perfect.
I would 1000% live there, and I would 1000% be a writer.
Yes.
Yes,
grew up
I'm like
writing
scribe.
Oh, really? That's really cool.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, they're talking about keeping their seat. I'm like, I'm a cowgirl. I've got this. I could totally do it.
That is awesome. I have not really ridden horses since I was young, but some of my earliest memories, my grandparents had a farm and they had miniature horses that they would like let
Aw.
us go out, and they had like around the farmhouse, they had an enclosed fenced-in area, and they would bring the miniature horses in there. And I remember the adults were not out there. We were like 4 years old, just riding in circles around the house because we couldn't get out to the pasture. But yeah, so but yes, I'm with you. I want to ride a dragon. The dragons are my favorite part of the series. So I'm here for
I
that.
love the dragons. I do not want to ride one. I don't want to go on that. If they ever make a Disney ride for it, don't want to go on it. It sounds too scary.
Hey, this is our fantasy. Like, I don't like flying. I don't like heights, but you know what? I think I want to ride a dragon nevertheless.
Now, if I could talk to a dragon and hear the funny things they said, yes.
Yes. Yes, that is true. That is
I
true.
saw someone post, could you imagine the talks between Riddick and his dragon? How funny that would be.
Oh my
It'd be
gosh.
hilarious.
Yeah, I would love to hear that.
I wonder if his dragon is just as funny as he is.
has to be.
I mean, right? Yeah. All right, Leyna, what about you? What's another one?
I chose Harry Potter. That was my number one. I even wore my Harry Potter shirt today.
Yay! I should have worn one. I'm not going to say. Go, keep going, please. I'll talk in a minute.
But for me, the thought of, well, I would want to live there after Voldemort is gone. Like, he's dead. They took out all the bad guys, and I can use magic to clean my house.
Yes.
That's what I'm all
Can you
about.
imagine how much reading we could do if we
So
didn't
much.
in our house?
Yes. My goodness.
I wouldn't
love
have to
that.
track my kids on their iPhones. I could just look and see, like, oh, there's the clock. They're in mortal
Yes.
danger.
I know. I love
I
it.
should
And
be
wanna-
worried.
I want to go to Hogwarts too. So,
Mhm.
okay. So the shirt I should have worn, because I do have a shirt for this. This is another one of my 90s kids thing. Do you know what I'm going to say, Leyna?
No, I'm like, bring it on.
Jurassic Park.
Oh
man.
my gosh.
I-
You and Jurassic Park.
So I do have it over in my closet. There is a Jurassic Park shirt over there, and I should have worn that because even though I would be terrified, we're talking. This is like fantasy, so it's okay. Like in my dream of living in Jurassic Park, I would not be the big chicken that I am in real life. So I want to
Well,
go.
You could also have the dream of Jurassic Park and it being a fully functional park where you can
That's
see
true.
the dinosaurs and it was how it was supposed to be and not scary.
That is true. I kind of want both though, but I
I
also
would
want to live.
I would 100% visit Jurassic Park. 100%.
I know. I also need Jeff Goldblum to be there.
Yes.
And Dr. Grant. I'm going to need both of them there.
Yes.
So
And I was going to say, who's the guy? He's married to Maria Shriver's daughter.
oh, Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. I was like, I could handle him.
I could look at him. I wouldn't be mad about that. No.
Did you see that they're remaking it with Jonathan Bailey and Scarlett Johansson?
I saw something about that. Yeah. So I'm
I wonder
curious.
what
Hey,
that's
I'll
gonna-
watch it. You know, I will buy them. I will watch them. I'll go to the theater. I can't.
I
Just
was
like with
reading
stream.
somewhere like we're the generation of nostalgia when it comes to entertainment. And I'm like, is that because that's all they're putting out? Or is that because we want it?
That's because the 90s were the best time to grow up ever.
That is
Yes.
true.
100%. Yes.
The 90s were the best. So that's why they're bringing all of our stuff back.
Yep. It's true. All right, Nikki, what is another one that you have?
Another one that I have, I don't know if you guys have read this. Have you guys read ACOTAR?
Oh,
Yes.
never.
So my stipulation is, I mean, I'm totally a fall girly. Like if it could be Halloween all year long, but I don't like anybody in the autumn court.
Right?
So ACOTAR
could.
for sure.
Like, why did she do that to us? Because autumn
know.
is the best. And she put the absolute worst people there.
It's so unfair. I have words
It's
for
so
her
unfair.
if we ever meet. But yeah, I would have to be ACOTAR and I would have to be in the inner circle of the night court. And that would just
Yes.
be it.
I
Okay,
can
do
see
you
that.
have, like, are you a recent girl or do you have
Oh,
any,
yeah.
like, okay, see,
Reese
So, but
girl,
you-
100%.
yes. See, I, just by chance, were you ever an Edward Cullen girl too
Of
back in the day?
course. Although
Okay,
I was
so
King Jacob too. Just a little. I kind of went
Just a
back and forth.
Okay, because I was Edward. I was like, that is my book boyfriend forever. And then I met Resend and I was like, forget Edward. Like, bring me the Bat Boy. Just saying. So
Yeah, I think he's just pretty much the perfect book boyfriend. So
I agree. Lena doesn't agree, but that's okay.
Wait,
But you know what?
Who?
He's not out of him and Tamlin, definitely.
Oh, well,
Reese.
yeah, obviously.
Like hands down. But ACOTAR just wasn't for me.
I know,
I really
I know.
did like Crescent City.
That's true.
So I did enjoy Sarah J. Maas in that regard.
Mhm.
And
So-
I would totally have, what's his name?
Hunt.
Hunt. It was
Athalar.
Athalar. Okay, I was thinking of the last name. But I thought he was a good book boyfriend.
It's fine. We don't have to fight because I get Resend.
Everybody gets their own.
And that is true. In our book club, that's how it works. We all have different ones from the different universes. And so, have you read Throne of Glass, Nikki?
I haven't. I have. Let's see. No. So I read the first one of Throne of Glass.
Okay.
I liked it. I didn't love it. I actually checked out the second book from the library because I didn't want to buy it. And I didn't end up reading it. So I actually just returned it. But I
Yeah.
think that I just have a lot of other things that I'm reading right now. So
Yeah.
I think I'll probably go back. But I've heard that maybe I might like Crescent City better. I'm not sure.
So,
Well, so it
LJ
works-
talked me into
yeah.
Crescent City, and it
You're
was
welcome.
amazing. Yes. And the first 50 pages, you're really like, what is
No,
going
it's 100. The first 100 pages.
Okay. So get through the first 100. That sounds awful, but get through the first 100 pages just because
true.
they don't tell you things and it's just happening and you're
just
finding
get-
things out as it's happening. So you're dropped into the
It's
middle of this
true.
world.
It's
Yeah,
true.
but
And
should
here's,
they're all connected.
I don't know if we should answer that.
I'm like, I'm saying silent.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Good to know.
But what I will tell you about with Throne of Glass for both, because Lena hasn't read Throne of Glass at all. I didn't know this when I first started reading it. She wrote the first few books in high school.
Mhm.
So you can kind of see the progression of the maturing of her writing. Because I agree. When I read Throne of Glass, the first book, the first time, I was like, it's okay. It's kind of, YA and, and then, but it does progress. And so I would say ACOTAR is going to be my favorite because I love Resend. Like, I need my Resend. So he's going to be my favorite. Akamath is going to be my favorite of all the books forever and ever and ever. But probably, I say that, watch me find a new book boyfriend next month. But, I have other worlds where there are book boyfriends on my list here too. So, but if y'all read it, you'll tell me and I'll read it with you. Just so you know.
I actually have Throne of Glass, the book. I have the physical copy,
Oh,
but I've never read it.
You know what's funny is that I have a couple of friends at work who read, and I was talking to one of them today, and she said, "Have you read ACOTAR?" And I said, "Yeah, of course." And she goes, "I just finished the first one. I'm starting the second one." She goes, "You probably like that bad guy, huh?" And I was like, "Who?" She's like, that guy, Reese. And I was like, "Oh,
He was
I
like,
do like
sweet summer
him."
child, just wait.
I know. I was like, "Do you like him?" I said, "Why? Do you like Tamlin better?" She goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." And I'm not going to spoil that for her, but
No. It's fine. It's a progression. It's an evolution. But we have a friend in our book club who is still mad because she thinks Tamlin was done dirty, and she just will not get over it. But she doesn't want Tamlin either, because I think she wants Cassian, right? I think
Yes.
she wants Cassian. So she doesn't really care about Tamlin. She just thinks he was done dirty. So I'm like, okay,
I think he's being set up for a redemption, so I'm sure he'll get
I bet
his due.
he will. So, all right, what other world, Leyna?
Have y'all read The Graveyard Book
Nope.
by Neil Gaiman? And I know he's
You
controversial.
know he
right
is
now.
on my he's on my naughty list. So
I'm
no,
like-
I have not.
I was
And I
bummed
know,
out when I saw that lately about him.
yeah, I know that you didn't like his book LJ because of
He killed a cat
animal death.
unnecessarily, and at the beginning, near the beginning of whatever that book was, and I don't forgive him.
But in the Graveyard Book, you have a little boy who, as a baby, his whole family is killed, and he crawls down into this graveyard, and the ghosts from the graveyard save him. And they care for him and make sure that he goes to school and does all the things that he's supposed to do, but his new family are ghosts. So you meet all the different ghosts from all the different centuries and all the different personalities, and it's a heartwarming story that starts with a murder.
Okay.
But I thought it would be really cool to live in a world where you could see the ghost, interact with them, and have that found family. I like that.
Well, first of all, you had me at Graveyard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. That reminds me of Coco. Coco is one of my favorite Disney movies ever.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
I think that's so special, being able to talk to even just people from different times, but especially I love the found family aspect of that.
Yeah.
Okay,
I got to decide which one I want to say, because I got some funny ones on here. I don't know if you looked at my list, Leyna.
I didn't.
Okay, so I'm going to throw out one that I think that Nikki is going to be on board with this one if you read these. The Fear Street books. R.L. Stein.
Yeah.
Those are like the high school ones of the Goosebump ones. And so, yes, I read those books so much. I repurchased some as an adult digitally that I remember reading. Like, I don't know what happened to my physical copies. They're gone. I read them till they were practically falling apart. But I loved that idea of this haunted street and just all this crazy stuff happening. And I read the Fear Street Saga ones, the ones for like the history of it. I don't know if y'all have read those, but it basically starts out like how the curse starts. Oh, so good.
It's been years. Like, I think I read those in, was it middle school?
Probably,
that they would have come out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember. I know I read them because I was all into Goosebumps and Fear Street and Christopher Pike.
I feel like I know that name. Christopher Pike.
He did. It was similar scary type stuff.
Okay, I think I probably read some then. But yeah, so I'm all about that. I know. I'm trying to not mention ones too many that I've talked about before, but there's one that will come later. All right. Anyway, Nikki, back to you.
Well, I have one that I don't think it's technically a world.
That's okay.
But I thought you guys would appreciate it. I would love to live in the Vampire Diaries world. Have you guys watched Vampire Diaries?
I have not.
I
And
watched
I have
the
been told
first
to
few.
watch it so many times.
It's just, it's just supernatural.
I watched it. I don't remember how many seasons I watched because I don't want to give away spoilers. So, but I watched stuff when it first came on. I was just like, and Ian Somerhalder. I feel like he was if they could have filmed like ACOTAR a while back, he would have been perfect for Rhysand, and
he would have.
He just really would have been. Oh, he was so beautiful. I still think he's beautiful. He's a little weird now, but we're gonna blame his vampire wife from the Twilight movies. I'm just saying. Anyway.
Well,
but yeah,
it's vampires, it's witches, it's hybrids, it's werewolves, and then it's also set in this like city in, I think it's Virginia, right? Mystic Falls, where
I
they're
think
really
so.
into their history, and there's all kinds of stuff about like the founding families. It's really fun. I love the
Okay.
Vampire Diaries world. I wish that was real.
No,
I'll have
I
to
tried
try
to
that.
read the books. I read the first couple, and they didn't. The show took its own direction. That I, no offense to LJ Smith, great going by LJ. I think that's the show went in a better direction from what
Mhm.
I saw. Just saying. So yeah, it is. That's now I want to go rewatch that one.
Oh, you
That'd be
have
a
to
fun one.
rewatch
We'll
That
have
would
to
be
do
a
a
fun one.
rewatch or watch
Yes.
in my case.
Yes. All right. What about
So
you,
what's your
Lena?
next one? Do you have
Oh, it's
another
your
one?
turn. Or
It's my
it's your
turn?
turn, Lena.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have y'all read Station 11?
No, but it's on my list.
So it's Emily St. John Mandel.
Okay.
And it's the world has ended. There's been the sickness and it kills all the people off. So that part is not the part that I would want to live in.
Right.
I would hopefully be the survivor, and my family and everybody would be too. But the part that I really liked is it starts out and the main character is she is an actress in a traveling Shakespeare company.
Hmm.
And so it's this post-apocalyptic world, and they have like a truck, but the engine taken out, and they have horses carrying it, and they're Shakespearean actors going around from settlement to settlement performing. And so it
That's
really talks
cool.
about art and how art is revered, and how they have they end up having a museum about what the world used to be. So they have like
Oh,
cell
that's
phones
cool.
and different things. So like a museum of the past. And I thought that was just a really cool concept.
I like that. That's pretty cool.
Don't want to do
All
it
right.
to death, but
Well, I feel like I first heard of that one on the Popcast with Knox and Jamie, and it came like highly recommended. I still haven't read it. I think my cousin read it. So I need to, maybe that will be a book I read in 2025.
and they made it into a TV show, and the
Was
TV
it
show was
good?
pretty good as well.
Okay, cool. Good to know. All right. I have so many on my list. So I'm going to go with I think I'm going to go with one that I don't think either one of you would necessarily mention. I'm going to throw in Bridgerton. I want to be in the Bridgerton world. That would be
I don't
fun.
know. They're so gossipy and backstabby.
But did you read the books?
I have not. I think I've read the first one.
Okay. Yeah.
I think you gave me the first three, but I've only read.
It might have been Allie that gave you the first three, because she gave
Okay.
me like I had some of them in physical copies and she gave the rest away, and I took the ones that I didn't have.
Okay.
But yeah, I like that. I almost would say more in the show version though, because the first book was cute, but I think the first season of the show was more fun than the first book.
Mhm.
I feel like the second season I didn't like some of the changes that they made, and honestly I haven't watched the third, but I've heard they also made some choices, and I'm like, no, Penelope, like. But anyway, yeah, that I love that. I think it's such a fun concept, but I want the more modernized version, like how they have it on the show. Like I think that's fun. I want some, Billie Eilish classical music, stuff like that. But I think it'd be fun to go to a different time period, even though I like my modern conveniences. But because we'd be rich, guys, we'd be rich, so we would be good. We'd have the best of the best.
Did you guys watch Queen Charlotte too?
I haven't.
No, but I need to. My daughter said she loved it.
Oh, that was my
That's a-
favorite.
That's
Okay.
what my daughter said. She said it's the best one, so I do need to do that.
Yes, I love that one.
All right, so should we do one more round?
I have
Or
one
two
more.
Yeah.
Okay,
let's
go
do
for
one
it.
more.
And you guys will appreciate this because when I listened to your earlier podcast, you talked about how, and you kind of mentioned it earlier, LJ, animal deaths are a no-go.
Yes.
I would love Narnia because then living in Narnia, because we can talk to the animals.
Yes.
And
we
you had,
have
I think,
to.
mentioned that on our Instagram account. And I was like, yes, I agree with you. I would want to talk to all the animals.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that would be such a dream.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
wonder
Lena,
if they would get annoyed with me being like, can I pet you?
or just like let's just snuggle. Let's just snuggle a little bit. Okay, Lena, did you finish the last battle yet?
No, I haven't. So I still
Okay.
have that to read too before Sunday. Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
I will tell you because I read it in like a day. It was really
Okay.
good. So I hope you enjoy it. I enjoyed it. But yeah, I would love to do that. I think that would be so fun to be a part of that. And I only just read all these. I'd only read as an adult I had read more than The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, but just finished them. So it's official. Check.
Check.
Love it.
Check off my checklist. But yeah, I love that. All right, Leyna, what about you?
So I thought that Just for the Summer, Part of Your World, Yours Truly by Abby
Aw.
Jimenez. And I know I talk about her all the time, but I
That's
love
okay.
her, and I love her books and the characters. And they're usually in either small towns or a city and then a small town, something like nearby. And I love how the community comes together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always really special. And so I would love to live there. And I always think that her books, even though they have heartbreak and they deal with some heavy topics,
Mm-hmm.
they always end with friendship, love. There's always that happy ending because it's a rom-com. Well, I don't know if you
love
call it
that.
a rom-com.
But
Romance?
yeah, I
It
guess.
has funny
I feel
in
like
it.
romance people take that in, it's not as respected. But yes, I agree. I love that. I need to read more of them because I've only read Part of Your World, so I still need to read the other ones. My last one that I'm going to pick is, oh my gosh, I just forgot. I'm looking at my list. Okay, this one I've talked about. We interviewed Holly Martin, and
Mhm.
I want to be on that island that I forgot what the island was called, but it's in a town called Christmas Duology. I have decided that in this world, I will own the bookstore since I can't do anything else artisan-y. And I will have my little apartment upstairs and get to live there year round. That is what I will do.
That's the
Done.
dream.
It is
Yes.
the dream.
Like, I want that. And then I'll be rich because we're rich in all of these worlds.
Of course.
We're rich in all of the books.
We're rich in all of these worlds. Okay, so were there any that, like, you can list, if you have a list of things that you're like, absolutely not going to live there? If you have
Definitely
any.
not Panem from Hunger Games.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yes,
Nope.
that was on my
Nope.
no list.
Not even in the capital.
I was
Nope.
like, you're either a weirdo capital person or you're trying to stay alive.
Yep.
There's no in
Nope.
between.
Nope.
No.
All right. What about you, Leyna?
One that I said was any Max Brooks book. So he wrote Devolution, a first-hand account of the Rainier Sasquatch massacre, and World War Z. So World War Z is
Oh,
what
okay,
he's
I've heard
more
of that.
famous for, but his second book was the Sasquatch one, and both of them just sound horrific.
Yeah, that
he's
does
a
not
very
sound
good
good.
writer.
No. In the same vein as Hunger Games, Divergent, even though I
Mm.
loved the first two books, I'm still mad about the third one. I will say that every chance I get. But either way, I'm like, no, that does not, I don't want to be somewhere where it's going to be sad and depressing. And that just is what it is. So no. All right. Do you have any other ones, Nikki?
Have you guys read Lightlark, the Lightlark series?
I've heard of it.
That
Is
was
it
another
good?
no. It is good. It's all these different, I think they're realms, maybe. The way that it's described is really beautiful. Like, you'll be walking through the forest and you'll trip on a sapphire.
Oh.
But the whole island of Lightlark is in ruin and it's all dying and falling away. So I think it would be cool to have some of the powers, but I think in general, since it's all kind of crumbling and they're having to leave, it would be a no. If you haven't read that, you might like it. It's pretty good. And I think they're making it into a movie too.
Oh, cool. Cool.
I'm writing it
What
down.
about you, Leyna? Do you have any more?
The Last Policeman series by Ben H. Winters. It's The Last Policeman, Countdown City, and World of Trouble. It's a trilogy. And there's an asteroid shooting down towards Earth, and they know it's going to impact, and they have two different impact locations, but it's going to wipe out everything. And this guy, the main character, is a policeman, and he wants to stay a policeman, even though everybody else has kind of abandoned ship. They know the world is ending, so they're all, we're going to go to Vegas, go to New Orleans. We're going to live out our dreams because we know the world is going to end. And his sister somehow gets a message to him that she knows how to stop the asteroid. And so he's trying to be a detective. There's a murder. It's a really good book series, but I don't want to live. It's very lawless. It's very every man for themselves. Doesn't
Yeah.
sound enjoyable to me.
Okay, I'm going to make you very happy, Leyna. I would not want to live in any of Stephen King's worlds. I love his books. I think my favorite one is Pet Cemetery, which should not be my favorite. That should be my least favorite. I do not want to live in any of these worlds. Like, not one, not The Shining, not It. Definitely not The Stand. Like any of, I love so many of his books, but no. Carrie, no. I don't want to live with any of these. So there you go.
I would
threw
agree.
you a bone,
I would not
Leyna.
either.
All right. Do y'all have any more before we share what our friends said online?
My last one was just anything related to Mad Max. My husband loves the Mad Max movies. I don't even like the movies, but I go with him because I love him. That would
That's
be
fair.
an absolute nightmare.
That's fair. Do you have any more on yours?
Let's see. I
mean,
said The Warehouse by Rob Hart.
I don't know what that
And it's
is.
basically, the world has become really economically disadvantaged, and everybody works for a company that's kind of like Amazon.
Mhm.
And just really unrealistic work expectations, being pickers, and you have like very small, it's almost like a company town for miners, but instead they're warehouse workers. And then there's a little bit of like Soylent Green going on. So
Oh no.
Okay. Okay.
it was not a world I would want to live in.
Well, the last one I will mention is Ice Planet Barbarian. So sorry to our friend Allie, who read every single one.
There's like 22 of them, right?
There are, and I believe
Yes.
they're all on Kindle Unlimited. I'm not knocking them. I read 2 of them. I read 2 or 3 of them, but no, I couldn't do it. So I'm okay with that. But we had some friends comment on Instagram besides Nikki, who got to share her own. So like the first one that we have here, the book singer _ said that he or she would love to live in Middle Earth after the War of the Ring.
And I agree with that. I would totally be a hobbit.
Mhm.
Breakfast and second breakfast and 11
Oh, I'm here
thieves.
for that. Yeah, I would be here for that for
That
sure.
sounds great.
Hmm.
It'd be great. And then
Yeah.
Tattered Page Treasures said Narnia or Hogwarts. So
Mhm.
she likes or I guess they like the magical worlds.
And then we have
those.
Jules Richardson 0, A Touch of Darkness, and A Deal with a Demon. I have not read A Deal with a Demon. A Touch of Darkness, I did very much enjoy that series, the ones that I've read, which is most of them.
A little spicy.
Not a bad choice, indeed.
And then my mom, Krista Reese, she said Little Women. That's one of her
Aw.
favorites. And I was
I should
like,
have put
but
that.
I don't know if I would want, like, there's some sad parts in that.
There are some sad parts. I know.
But I do love how the family comes together and supports each other, but there's some conflict.
It's true.
Love Little Women.
I do too.
I think Joe is the writer, right?
Joe is the writer,
I think
yeah.
whenever I read it, I was like, I want to be Joe.
I think everyone reads it, and I think that you're supposed to want to be Joe, I think. I mean,
She's
even,
whatever.
yeah, like even if, because I'm trying to think, I was more prissy, shocker, growing up, but I still didn't like Amy. Like, I didn't want to be Amy, and I didn't want to be Meg. I probably was most resembled Beth because I was deathly shy as a child, but I didn't want to be deathly shy as a child. So I think Joe's the best. So
Yes, Joe is the best.
Joe is the best. All right, I guess that basically concludes our discussion about this. Should we tell them what we're going to talk about next week?
Next week is The Outlander. So if you are like LJ and I and haven't started, well, we've started,
Started.
but you still have another week to read, you can do it.
We will, or else I
Yep.
will be in trouble. So
I've
By
already,
more
I've
than
already
just
read
Leyna.
it. So
I haven't. So
it's a good series. But
I believe
yeah,
in
we
you.
could. Thank you. Thanks for
Gonna
cheering
power
us
through.
on, Nikki. And thank you so much. I'm so excited. We're definitely going to have you back because, I mean, we're going to be our our writing community, right?
Yes,
like,
we are.
Let's do it. I've put you guys into my writing community. I love it.
yes, yes.
Let's build it.
And we're going to support the Scare B&B project.
Yep.
Oh my-
And
That'll be
yes,
so-
I love it. So
Awesome.
Thank
So,
you
yeah.
so much for having me. This was so fun. Oh, I do have
Yes.
one more question though for you guys.
Oh, yes.
So I heard you guys talking about The Witcher,
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
specifically Henry Cavill. Are we still watching now that he's been replaced by Liam Hemsworth? What are we doing?
No.
nope. Bye. Sorry. That was a mistake all around. Now, this is Henry Cavill's fault, actually. This is all, well, it's not his fault.
No.
It's whoever contracted him to be Superman again and then backed out. Because that's
Well,
why he left.
I heard that it wasn't, he had said that he would be part of The Witcher as long as it stayed true to the
Then maybe
video
it is
game.
his fault.
And they did not stay true to the video game. So he said, I'm out of here. Or they were going to change something.
Okay,
I
so
don't know
that's the
Julia.
okay, because the public statement was that he was going to go be Superman again, and then that ended, and I'm like,
Oh, so he's not Superman?
no, they said they changed their mind on that.
Oh.
They weren't going to bring him back again because I was like, But it's fine, you know. Did he have his baby
He,
yet?
he should have had his baby by now. He's probably being daddy.
He's probably yeah. I mean,
He is daddy.
yeah, he is. He really, really is. And I 100%. I don't care what the fantasy male lead is described as. If I'm
who you
into
see?
him, that's who I see. I'm just saying that it's who it is. It's always him. And I know I should not like him with that white hair and creepy eyes, but
The white hair and creepy eyes did. I was like, I don't know about this
I don't
guy.
know. I don't know what's wrong with me, but
About him.
I'm very attracted to it. So
There's just
It is
something
what-
about it.
there's just something about. So are you
And
a
that he's
big?
a huge nerd, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's really funny, Nikki, is one of our good friends who appears sometimes on the podcast, Emily. One day, I don't even know if you know this, Leyna. She and I had a sit down where she's like, LJ, you know that like he's too nerdy for you. Like you would not. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like basically the conversation was that like she could reach his nerdiness, but I couldn't. And I had to concede. She's not wrong. Like I would not be able to, but gosh, I would love to watch him play video games all day and all night.
I've watched my husband paint Warhammer miniatures for years.
There we go.
I
You
could
have your
watch Henry do
review
it.
Yeah. So are you a big fan too, Nikki?
Of Henry Cavill or The Witcher?
Yes. Yeah, both. Yes, both.
I'm actually not a fan of The Witcher. I kind of can't
Oh.
stand the show, but I love him, so I love the
Yeah,
show.
I get you. I would never. Leyna, you're the reason I watched it,
Mhm.
right?
And
Because
Derek
during
won't watch it.
COVID, we took turns picking each of us
Shows to
each
watch.
week. Got to pick a show that we were going to watch a season of, and she picked that. And I almost quit 5 minutes in because the very first scene that most people won't remember, but I will remember because this is the type of stuff that traumatizes me. He kills a deer, and I had to keep telling myself he has to eat. He has to eat. People need food. This is okay. And it's not a real deer. A real deer was not hurt in this. But I will never forget that was the first scene, and I was ready to be very
done
angry.
with it then.
I love
Yep.
everything with him and Siri. I just don't love Yennefer. She's hard for me to
Mm-hmm.
watch.
Yeah.
I know. Like, yeah, I agree. I agree
My
on
husband
that.
I love
is
Siri.
not a
Yeah,
fan
yeah.
of spooky stuff. Loves video games, but not a fan of spooky stuff. And he won't watch it because of it's scary. They're scary monsters. And I kind of want to have him blindly watch your short film.
Yes, please send it to him. Please send it to
me.
He will hate me forever.
Yeah, no, like be like, this is how you do it. You just be like, hey, this is the short film I was telling you about that Nikki, who was on our podcast, that got made into a short
Won
film.
an award.
You should watch it. It's really good. And be like, it's only 8 minutes. Like, and then
He will
and
never
then
forgive me.
please like have him sit there and please film his reaction. And yes, we won't post it. We'll just send it to Nikki and you'll send it to me, and then we'll all laugh about it. So
Long ago, when we were first married, he went and saw a scary movie without me. And so I was like, if he can go see that, he can go see The Ring, which is what I wanted to see. So I told him
Oh
I
my
heard
gosh.
it wasn't very scary. And we went and watched it. And he watched it through the hole in his baseball cap.
oh
Like,
my gosh.
And I had nightmares for like a solid week after that.
I mean, I watched The Ring at my parents' house and then slept with them that night as an adult. So, and I did that with Final Destination as well. I just want you all to know, real talk, as an adult. So,
You know what I hate about The Ring is the horse jumping off the side of the boat.
there's just so much wrong with that
It's
whole movie.
These animals getting hurt. I can't do it. But while we're
At the
talking
end.
about the film, so it's
Yes.
called Amongst. I don't even know if we said what it was called.
Yes,
It's called
we did.
Oh
Amongst
my
the
God.
Pines.
I even have it
Sorry.
here on our
No,
show.
no worries.
Big, bold letters.
Yeah, it's called Amongst the Large Pines. And if anyone wants the link to it, it's in the show notes, like you said, but also it's in my link tree and my Instagram. And my
Yes.
Instagram is Nikki Blake Wright.
Yes.
And we'll be sure to put that in the show notes too.
We
so
will be
people can reach
tagging you, Nikki, with your permission in every post of our clips that I post on social media.
Yeah, I love that.
So feel free to share or not. You don't have to promote us. We just want to promote you. But
No, I will be putting it all over the place. This is so much fun. I want to come back sometime. So just let me know. I'll be there.
we will. We will definitely. We want you back too. We were so fun.
Yes.
She's like
it
one
was
of the
fun.
crew.
I love it. You're stuck with me now.
We are done.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us.
And join us next week for Outlander. Woohoo!
We'll
All
see
right,
you all then.
bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.